Love English Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome back to Love English Podcast. I'm Emma.
And I'm Leo. We are so happy you are here for another conversation. Emma, today's topic is something I am personally very excited about because it's about something I already love to do, but I think I could do it much, much better.
Oh, that's always the best way to learn, when you can improve something you already enjoy. What is it you love to do?
I love listening to podcasts. I listen to them when I'm driving to work, when I'm at the gym, and sometimes when I'm cooking dinner. And of course, my favorite one is this one, Love English Podcast. I listen to every single episode. My question is, am I doing it right? Is just listening for an hour every day enough to really improve my English? Or is there a better, more strategic way to use podcasts to learn faster?
That is a brilliant and very important question, Leo. And the answer is a big yes. There is a much better, much more effective way. Just listening is a great start. Please, everyone, don't stop doing that. That's your passive learning, your comprehensible input. It's fantastic for building your vocabulary and for getting a feel for the rhythm and sounds of the language. But if you want to turn your podcast listening time into a real learning powerhouse, you need to add a few more layers. You need a system.
A system. I love systems. They make things clear and give me a path to follow. What does a podcast learning system look like?
I like to think of it as a 3-stage rocket. Each stage is important and builds on the last one. Stage 1 is passive listening for understanding. Stage 2 is active listening for interaction. And Stage 3 is creation and ownership. Most people, like you, Leo, only ever stay in Stage 1, and that's why they feel stuck. The real magic, the real progress, happens in Stages 2 and 3.
A 3-stage rocket. I love that analogy. Okay, I'm ready for liftoff. Let's start with Stage 1. You called it passive listening for understanding? I thought you just said passive listening wasn't enough.
It's not enough on its own, but it is the essential first step. You can't launch a rocket without fuel. This stage is the fuel. However, there is a right way and a wrong way to do it. The goal of the stage is very simple: to understand the main idea of the conversation and to enjoy it. The most important rule here, and I cannot say this enough, is choosing the right podcast. If you are a beginner and you try to listen to a podcast about advanced physics or fast-paced political news, you will understand nothing. You will feel stressed, you will feel stupid, and you will learn absolutely nothing.
That's the idea of comprehensible input again. I need to listen to something I can actually understand most of, maybe 90% or more.
Exactly. You should feel relaxed and confident while listening, not lost and frustrated. This is the whole reason we created Love English Podcast, to be the perfect fuel for beginners. The conversations are simple, the speed is clear, and the topics are about everyday life. So the first step in the system is to just listen to an episode one time through. That's it. Listen in the car, on the bus, while washing dishes. Don't worry about understanding every single word. Don't stop. Don't rewind. Just try to follow the main story. What is the main topic Leo and Emma are talking about today? That is your only mission in Stage 1.
Okay, so that's what I do now. I listen once just for fun and to get the main idea. I feel like I am doing that part well. I'm ready for Stage 2. This must be the more difficult, more focused part.
It requires more focus, yes, but this is where the real learning begins. This is Stage 2, active listening for interaction. In this stage, you are no longer a passive passenger on a bus. You are the driver of the car. You need to sit down with the podcast episode, a notebook, and a pen. I'm going to give you 4 different techniques you can use in this stage. You don't have to do all of them every time, but you should practice them regularly to train different skills.
4 different techniques. Okay, I'm ready. My notebook is open. What is the first one?
The first technique is the most fun. I call it the treasure hunt. Your mission is to listen to the episode again, but this time you are actively hunting for treasure. The treasure is new vocabulary and useful everyday phrases. You listen with your notebook open, and you press pause whenever you hear a word or phrase that you find interesting. You write down maybe 3 to 5 treasures.
Only 3 to 5? If the episode is 15 minutes long, I might hear 20 words I don't know.
That's a great point, but this is important. If you try to write down 20 words, you will feel overwhelmed and you won't remember any of them. The goal is quality, not quantity. You are looking for high-value treasure, words that you think you can actually use in your own life. Don't just collect words, collect useful tools.
That makes sense. Hunt for 3 to 5 useful treasures. Got it. What's the second technique?
The second technique is the echo, which is another name for the shadowing technique we've talked about. This is your active speaking practice. You choose a small section of the podcast, maybe the first 30 seconds or one of my answers. You listen to me or you say one sentence, then you pause the audio and you repeat it out loud. You are the echo. You try to copy everything, the exact pronunciation, the intonation, the rhythm, the music of the voice.
So this is how I practice my speaking, even when I'm alone. I'm not just listening to the podcast, I am speaking with the podcast. I'm moving from the passenger seat to the driver's seat.
Exactly. You are actively using your mouth and your ears. It is an incredibly powerful way to improve your fluency and your accent. Now, for the third technique, this one is called the reporter.
The reporter? Do I need a microphone for this one?
Only if you want to. It can actually be fun. For this technique, after you listen to a small part of the conversation, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, you pause the audio. Your job as a reporter is to summarize what you just heard. You have to explain the main points out loud in your own words as if you were reporting the news to a friend. For example, after this explanation, you would pause and say, okay, so Emma just described 3 active listening techniques. The first is the treasure hunt for vocabulary, the second is the echo for speaking practice, and the third is the reporter where I have to summarize the information.
I see. So this tests my comprehension on a much deeper level. It forces me to check if I really understood what was said, not just heard the sounds.
Yes, it turns listening into a real thinking exercise. It builds a bridge between understanding and speaking. And the fourth and final active technique is the most intense. I call it the scribe. In ancient times, a scribe was a person whose job was to write things down. For this exercise, you listen to one single sentence, you pause, and you try to write down exactly what you heard, word for word. This is also known as transcription.
Oh, that sounds very, very difficult. My brain moves slower than the speaker.
It is the most challenging technique, so maybe you only do it for 1 or 2 sentences in a session, but it is the single best way to improve your detailed, precise listening skills. It trains your ear to hear the small, fast words, the articles like and the prepositions like in or at, the endings of words like s or ed that we often miss in passive listening.
Okay, so stage 2 is the workout stage. I can be a treasure hunter, an echo, a reporter, or a scribe. This is a fantastic toolkit. So what's left? What's the third and final stage of the rocket?
Stage 3 is the most important stage of all. It is the stage that separates a successful learner from a person who just collects knowledge. Stage 3 is creation and ownership.
Creation and ownership. That sounds powerful. What does that mean?
It means that the words and phrases you found in your treasure hunt cannot stay in your notebook. If they stay in your notebook, they are not yours. They are still my words and Leo's words. To make them your own, to truly own them, you must create something new with them.
How do I do that? What kind of creation?
It's very simple. For every one of the 3 to 5 treasure phrases you wrote down, you must now write your own original sentence, a sentence that is true and personal for your life. For example, if you heard us use the phrase, "it depends on the weather," you can't just copy that. That's not creation. You have to create a new sentence like, "My plan to go for a run tomorrow depends on the weather," or "whether I feel happy or sad often depends on the weather." Now that phrase is connected to your life, to your reality. Your brain will remember it much more easily.
That is such a powerful idea. I have many notebooks full of words that I never use. It's because I never did this creation stage. I never made them my own. I was a collector, not a creator.
And you can take it one step further to achieve true ownership. Your mission for the next 24 hours is to try to use one of your new phrases in a real situation. You can use it when you're talking to yourself while making coffee. You can write it in an email to a friend. You can use it with a language partner. The act of retrieving that phrase from your brain and using it in a real context is what moves it from your notebook into your active, usable vocabulary. That is true ownership.
So the whole system is a journey. Stage 1, I listen passively to understand the main idea and enjoy the content. Stage 2, I listen actively with a notebook to interact with the content as a detective or a reporter. Stage 3, I take what I learned and I create something new with it to make it my own.
That is the complete blueprint for using podcasts to learn English effectively. And you don't have to do all 3 stages for every episode. You could create a simple weekly plan. Maybe on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you just do stage 1 during your commute. And on Tuesday and Thursday, you dedicate 20 minutes to sit down and do a stage 2 and stage 3 workout with a small part of one of those episodes.
That sounds so manageable and so much more effective than what I was doing. I was stuck in stage 1 and didn't even know it. I was just fueling the rocket, but never pressing the launch button.
And now you have the map for the other 2 stages. Now you know how to truly launch your English learning rocket.
I do. Thank you, Emma. This is going to change everything about how I listen to our podcast.
I hope so. And to all our listeners, we encourage you to try it. Don't just be a listener, be a treasure hunter, an echo, a reporter, a scribe, and most importantly, a creator. That is the fastest path to fluency.
Thanks for listening to Love English Podcast. Remember, every minute you spend learning English is an investment in your future. Keep learning and see you in the next episode.